Okay. Thank you, Mr. Modshop. Did I miss? What is up, guys? So this particular live stream, I just did the Corona 16 megabyte NAND, and people were asking me to keep going. It seemed like chat was hopping and or that sort of thing. So yeah, we're just gonna keep going, and I'm gonna get done what I need to get done, and I'll just live stream in the morning. So I'm actually just reassembling the console from the previous video now. In a little break, I went and got a drink and got going. So next up, I think we'll do a fat RGH2 using a, or RGH 1.2 using a matrix glitcher. Matrix V1 at that, or yeah, V1 I think is what they are. They're really inexpensive XC264A based chips, which is the same thing that's on the Cool Runner Rev C, the Cool Runner CR3 Lite, and the Matrix chips. Is either an XC264A or XC264A instruction set compatible. It's a it's the main IC that is on those particular ones. So we'll get that started here in just a second. The case on that one's all busted up, so it'll be interesting to see how much further it falls apart after we mod it. Alright. Correct, Francois, probably Francois. If your picture looks like the one that he linked, then it cannot be modded. It is a Winchester. If it looks like the XC GPU that was in the previous stream we just did, which you should be able to go watch from my YouTube history by now, then it can be modded as a Corona. Alright, so there's this one all put back together and modded up. So let me just set this off to the side. We'll grab. Oh, I don't want to show somebody some personal info off the Symbian form. Alright, so this console is ganked, right? I'm pretty sure it had some damage before it got here, but it might have got damaged at shipping. This one belongs to Brad R. of Florida. Brad, this is your, well, let's look at the, it's a Falcon. So if you look at the power socket here, you can see that that top bar is totally flat across. It doesn't have the little division in the middle. So that tells me that this is a Falcon motherboard. Sonic Wolf, is this the other stream? Yeah, I'm just going to keep going this morning. People seem to be interested, so I have other consoles to do. Why not just let people watch while I do it? I've definitely already done RGH 1.2 videos, a number of them in fact, but this is just a live stream for funsies because you guys are cool to hang out. Francois, no, I'm sorry, I don't know anybody in South Africa. In fact, I used to have a guy who would travel back and forth between, and I don't know what African country it was, but between an African country, and he used to pack his suitcase full of modded Xboxes that he would buy off of me, and then resell them when he got back to Africa. But I don't have his contact anymore, and I don't know what country he was actually going to and from anyway. But it was always interesting that there was, you know, nobody doing this there. It seems surprising. Are these dual cameras helpful at all for you guys to tell what I'm doing? Do you like that? Oh, all right. Let's get a drink. My no-name brand Diet Mountain Dew. Francois, maybe this is the opportunity for you, man. Maybe it's the time to start a little business. If you don't know of anybody else in South Africa doing it, it must be that they don't advertise very well. Maybe you could step up and fill that hole. Oh yeah, I'll still do fat send-ins with RGH1 too. Just much up so you're aware, I do only do Falcons and Jaspers, so I won't do Xenons, Opus, or Zephyr consoles. Especially Zephyrs. Oh my god, do I hate Zephyr consoles. Hey, Mr. Master Plays. What's up, Moto Gaming? You bought a console from me a long time ago. Cool. Yeah, I'm still going. Been doing this 4, 5, 6 years now? I don't know. I don't keep track. Do you like that view of my arm? I'm sure that's amazing. That's why I have 2 cameras going, so I don't have to switch back and forth. You guys can just see from whichever one makes sense. Yeah, I get it. They're not. You were the same when you did Fat Send in school. They're not a lot of fun, and they do take a little longer than the slim send-ins, and they're more prone to red ring and stuff. But people just have so damn many of them floating around that it just seems like a hard thing to totally lock people out. So Falcons and Jaspers I'll keep doing probably as long as I continue the send-in service, which doesn't really seem like it's going to stop anytime soon. So alright, so this one again is a Falcon. We're going to do the RGH 1.2 using the Matrix V1 here. It's very similar, and this process could be interchanged if you have a Cool Runner Rev C, if you have a Cool Runner CR3 Lite. Lost does the comments. People seem to be active in the comments and enjoying the other one. I needed to specifically do a separate video for the Corona 16 megabyte NAND because I didn't already have a video for that. What I'm trying to do is get my website. So if you go to regular www.weekendmodder.com, that site is trying to be like a tutorial resource for folks that would want to mod their console. And I've already got like Jasper, Falcon, many Trinity videos, several Corona 4 gig videos, but I didn't have a specific Corona 16 megabyte NAND video to link. So I wanted to go ahead and have that video be separate so that when it was done, I would be able to link people out to that. So, do I do mini slim Xbox 360? I think you mean the E-series slims. And yeah, I will do those as well, as long as they're Coronas. Some of those E-series with very late manufacture dates can be Winchester model motherboards, and if they're a Winchester, those are not moddable, unfortunately. So, somebody tell me a little bit more about this muffin thing, though. Is it just supposed to be a faster boot time? I didn't have a chance to read much of that page in between the streams here, but it sounds interesting. It looks like it's just a timing file and maybe some different ECCs or something. If somebody has a little bit of knowledge on that, I'd be interested if they wanted to dump it in the comments. At the Russian name that I can't pronounce, I'm sorry. Yes, this is a Falcon. Hello from Russia. Awesome. How do you say that name? What are those? What do they say? Cyrillic, something characters? I don't know. All right. So let's start up a new copy of JRunner. This is going to take just a second here, ladies and gentlemen. While that's going on, I will just kind of pass my iron through that flux we just laid down. Alright. So I want to show you guys the reference image that I would use here. So within JRunner, you go to Images, Nandex Slim, Nandex Fat Install, and you get this nifty image here, which shows you the layout of those 5, and then up here, those 2. So this is the image, and again, you could always snag the JRunner copy off of my fairly recent video where I provide everybody the copy of JRunner that I use on a daily basis. And then this one, for having done this so many times, it almost surprises even me that I don't have all of these points always 100% memorized. It's kind of, I don't know, I guess I bounce back and forth between enough installs that it's hard to have everything exactly memorized. I guess that's the excuse I tell myself. There we go. The ground point, the yellow point, often requires a bit more heat applied to it. Or rather, longer heat. The rest of the pads, if you applied heat that long, you would be looking at potentially doing some damage. So what I did there were the 2 NAND points, and then the one over on the top, that's actually the 3-volt 3 point. So, mod shop, Malcolm, have a look here. If the XCG looks like that, then it cannot be modded. You pronounce it vodka. Sandpaper? You use sandpaper on your Xbox? Oh man. If you have one of those blue Xbox 360Es, in my experience, all of those blue 360Es are Winchester motherboards, unfortunately. So I hate to say it because I don't want to disappoint anybody, but pretty sure that if you have one of those blue special editions, that you are dealing with a Winchester motherboard and are not going to be able to RGH it, unfortunately. Alright, so let's try this from this angle. Keep it out of my way and still let you guys see what's going on here. Did that work? Yeah, that looks pretty good. So black, then brown, then red. Oakley, what you doing, buddy? Oh yeah? There we go. Red. Oakley, do you want to say hi to the internet? What? Do you want to say hi to the internet? No. No? You don't want to say hi? That's probably pretty smart. We do teach you not to talk to strangers, right? So. Alright. Kind of cramped quarters in there, and it is pretty important that your pins don't get bridged here. Yeah, but it's Grit 2000. Does lost comments. You watch the stream with your small bear and drink vodka. All right, that sounds very Russian. Alright, so next up are the blue and green ones for this fat. And again, we're just installing the NAND header now. This is a Fat Falcon that we intend to RGH using the Matrix in the RGH 1.2 methodology. All right. We have a child on stream? Yeah. My kid's in the background. It's okay. He lives here too. He can come and go. All right, so I just connected power, standby. I don't obviously have any sort of fan in, so I don't want to turn it on or anything. And we'll connect the Nandex. And then we'll pop into JRunner. Click the little question mark to get a query. We get a valid flash config, Falcon Opus, and we just say read NAND. We'll say OK. So there we go. Oh, I don't mean to move that like that. I meant to move this like that. You can't at the Russian guy. Yeah, I don't know how to type those characters either. Thanks to my RGH one a few months ago, you have a Jasper RGH. Awesome. Glad I could help. What code does it need to be to know if you can RGH? So at Joe, probably the easiest thing to do is in your browser, hit up sendin, so sendin.weekendmodder.com, and then look at the 3 big images. Which actually, I think I could probably do that. I could show you guys. Send in. Let me see. Send in. So here, Control-Shift-B. So sendin.weekendmodder.com will redirect to my store, which has my RGH send-in service on it. And if you scroll down here, you get these images. So if your console physically looks like this, it's a FAT, right? And the next thing you want to check is, does it have an HDMI or not have an HDMI? And then you can look at the ports here. And this image is specific to me. I won't RGH Zephyrs or earlier, but there are some methods to do that. And then the next image is, if it's a slim, S-style, the cool thing is if it's this form factor, physically looks like these, then it 100% can be modded, absolutely. And then finally, there's the E series, which has a rough division date of 6 of 2014. And before, most of those are Coronas. And then 7 in 2014 and after, most of those are Winchesters that can't be modded. So these give you a pretty good idea if you follow through these images on my send-in page. And then obviously you're free to DIY it or whatever, but there you go. Do fake JR programmers work? Yes, poorly. Blah, 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 blah. What is RGH exactly? RGH is a timing attack that sends a reset pulse to the CPU that works in some fairly fancy function to allow it to bypass a security that usually prevents you from being able to boot non-official NAND images or operating systems, whatever. So there you go. Yes, Ryan, you can change the boot up sounds. That is possible. How long does it take to do a send-in with me? So typically, right, you ship it out. It takes a couple days to get here. Usually they're in my hands for a couple of 3-4 days. And then usually it's a couple of 3-4 days to get back to you via shipping. Or 2 or 3 days, really, because I use priority mail. So all in, you know, you can expect from the day you mail it to the day you get it back, something like 10 days, maybe a little less, maybe a little more, depending on how backed up I am. I guarantee on my website that I never have a console in my possession longer than 10 business days. So Satinil 420. I couldn't begin to make a suggestion about what to do to improve that without knowing what type of console it was, how it was modded, what chip is in it, that sort of stuff. If I had to guess, taking a wild stab, maybe you had somebody build a CR4 speed up NAND image for your console and then you updated the dash and didn't check that box, so now it's using standard RGH2, you know, something like that. Can you post a very detailed explanation? Yeah, Reaper, are you gonna post that one to the big long detailed thing over on 7 cents? That would be cool. I don't know that you can actually post the link, though, since you're not a mod or anything. Anyway, JRunner just finished. We've got 2 valid NAND reads here, so I'll disconnect the NANDX, disconnect power, and actually I probably should have wrote the ECC file, but we'll do that later. Alright, so now our next steps are going to be actually installing the chip, which I showed you guys on screen and then promptly misplaced. Oh, here it is. Alright. So here is the glitch chip we're going to use. Real basic glitch chip. And these don't come with pads, you know, the little double-sided pads, and I haven't managed to get buy any extra of it yet, so just use some electrical tape and form it into a little loop here and snag that on the back. And the one thing that I am careful to cover on these is the little metal surface for the pinholes. I don't want that to ground out on the AV shield where I mount it, so I make sure that my tape covers that entirely, so that when I mount it, it doesn't ground out those spots. So the glitch chip just sits right there on top of the AV port, and I'd like to show you guys the reference image for this. So let me see if I can do that. Yeah, here we go. So the method that we're going to use to install this is obviously power and ground, and then each of the points are labeled to what they're actually things. So you can see that D and E are unlabeled, so those will go unused in this install. But just to kind of translate it, A is CPU RST, which on a Cool Runner Rev C would be D. B is the post, which on a Cool Runner Rev C would be point C. C is CLK, or standby click, which would on a Rev C be point B. And then F, which is PLL bypass, and that would normally be pad A on a Rev C. So the mapping is a little different, but the points will all be the same. Not counting only the stuff you carry, but in your opinion, what should you be looking for the RGH or Falcon in the cheapest possible way? So the cheapest possible way to RGH a Falcon would probably be to pick up one of the like Matrix V1 programmers you can get on eBay for like $5 or $7, and then one of these chips, and have a buddy or somebody program it for you, something like that. You can also buy these pre-programmed off of my shop, which would allow you to cheap out on the programmer. If you want to spend a little bit more money on your programmer, you could buy something like a JRP, a JR programmer. That would allow you to program the chip and read-write the NAND. That would be pretty cheap. All in, you should be able to glitch a Falcon for like 20, 25 bucks in parts, you know, something like that. Alright, so first couple of things here. I'm going to hook up some power. Klein, it's easier to send in. Well, that's true too, but you're going to spend 75 bucks with me plus the cost of whatever it costs you to ship the console to me. Return shipping is included in the send-in service, but shipping to me in the first place I do not include, obviously. I thought about trying to work a bundle where I would like provide you with a prepaid shipping label to me as part of the cost, but that would make my send-in service like $90, and I was afraid that people would see that price tag and just compare that to other people's send-in services and think that I was way more expensive, because maybe they weren't paying attention to the fact that mine also included all of the shipping. So I did kind of one-sided, right? I include the shipping from me back to you in my price, but you're still responsible for figuring out how you want to ship it from you to me in the first place. So that first one we did was power. This one I'm hitting is ground. And then these I just grounded off to the AV shield. No, nobody's ever done a super chat for me. I don't even really know much about it. YouTube just popped it up. I'm not really a big time streamer. I've done a few, but you know, whatever. It would be cool if somebody did that. I don't know how it really works. Alright, so there's ground. The Mod Shop did a $2 super chat. That's cool. I don't know. He didn't put a message in there, but I guess it would have let you put whatever message you wanted. That's kind of neat. Thanks, man. That's cool. It's neat. I haven't seen it done before, so for the lulz, I appreciate it. The other thing I'll go ahead and do right now, too, is these pads. So you want to bridge the ones to the left if you were doing a slim. This is obviously a fat, so I'm going to bridge these to the right for the fat area. And now comes the fun part, which is doing all the rest of the wiring. Alright, I need a length of wire that is long enough. I think this one might be. Alright, so typically, stream next week and you'll super chat $4 or 4 pounds or what are those things called? What do they say? Crap, pounds, British. There's a word for it. Oh, well. Alright, so I'm going to do first here point post, which is going to get installed here to the B. And then I'm going to show you guys the alternate location that I highly recommend that everybody use here. The post, no, I'm saying this wrong, not post. CLK, click, right? Standby click, which should then go into the C point, actually. Sorry about that, guys. I'm distracted by chat. Alright, so a lot of install diagrams for FATs have you using the very small and delicate CLK point right here, which is really minuscule and very easy to accidentally knock off a resistor. So instead of that, what I recommend is using the under the board point, which is all nice and isolated and on its own. So you route your little wire through the top hole here. You pull that down, and we'll flatten this out and make it look all pretty here in a second. But on the underside of the board, the point that we're going to go for here is just off of the main header, right there. So let's let the camera focus. Come on, camera. Oh, it's because this wire is up. Come on, camera. Focus, focus. Let me back it up a little bit. Hey, there we go. Alright, so just up from the 4 holes where the south bridge is, there's a little point right here labeled FT2R2, and it's got a little white circle around it. So right there. That point is way easier to solder to, super low risk, and is just all around a way better choice and does not impact performance at all. How can you contact me? Mod Shop, you're a stand-up dude. You're being very cool about the whole people reaching out to you thing. But if you want to throw out your contact info, that would be fine with me if you wanted to. Up to you, though. So we're just going to go ahead and kind of pre-tin that spot a little bit. And then I'm going to just tack a little wire down. Just like that. All good. So we'll feed that back through to the top. And again, same reasoning that I kind of explained last stream, but back from the point a little bit. I'm just going to go with a little bit of hot glue. And again, that's just so that if I accidentally tug on the wire, or somebody else does when they're looking into the console or whatever, it doesn't just rip the pad off. It's happened way too many times for me to be comfortable with just leaving them unsecured. So there we go. All right, next steps. We're going to use our wrapping wire, aka Kynar wire, aka single strand, not twisted, solid wiring for the rest of this. So it's super thin, really delicate sort of wire, but it works really well for these installs. At some point I'll throw a link in the description or like in a comment. Buy it off Amazon. This whole roll, which I've done dozens and dozens of consoles with, was like $10, and yeah, whatever. So first one we're going to do is going to get routed through under this hole right here, and then we're going to go up to the post point. So as you saw me doing, I kind of put a little curve in the wire intentionally, so that as I insert it, it wants to pop out, because we want it to come out from under the heatsink this direction. And then I'll use my little tweezers to kind of force feed it through. So I'm just grabbing and pushing. So I'm leaving it connected back to the roll so that I can be really efficient with my use of the wire. I'll connect the top side and then trim out the bottom side so that everything matches here. So this length, and the post point, again, going back to our reference image, post is B here. So that's where we're going to route this to. We're going to go to the post point B. So let me strip a little bit of the end of the wire off here. If I can find my snippers. Of course, oh, here we go. So we'll just strip a tiny bit of the end of the wire. And then we're going right into B, which is where we said our post wire goes. So there's that. And then routing on these installs is of pretty significant importance. So what you want to do is route the wire along the edge of the heatsink and then in a straight line back up to the chip. So I'm probably going to need a little bit more length than what I have currently. I will, let's see, maybe you guys could use a secondary view on this. Yeah, how's that? Alright, so I'm going to route this wire kind of straight down and then in here, and then I'm just going to kind of hold it so that it bends at more or less a 90-degree angle here. So I've got it right up to the edge of the heatsink. And just again, to hold it in place from a routing standpoint, I just use a little dab of hot glue because it's easy. There we go. So that will keep that from rotating. And then as it cools a little bit, what you'll see is it allows me to tug from the underside so that the wire runs flat up underneath there, which is really what we want. So if I lift the console a little bit and then I just kind of pull, it pulls that wire nice and tight into there. Alright, so if we go back, we can see that the wire is routed nice and along there and then straight back and up and out to the chip. So now we'll flip it back over again. And where this is headed is to the post point here, the one off to the end by itself. So I'm going to hold my wire up, gauge the length, and basically I was just able to do that with zero waste. The second camera is annoying. Oh, okay, well. I wasn't planning on using it long term. I just popped back and forth the way, you know, people could see stuff. On this one, if you expose too much wire to, you might just want to trim it back a little bit just so that you have a small tip exposed. I'll hit a little point. Clink, right? Clink King. We definitely can. You can direct wire the Viper for other installs, and you could potentially use the Corona adapters that are already out there. Team Executor produced one for their Demon chip, but then they could also be direct wired in whatever. ModShop mentioned potentially coming up with a fat adapter board as well. So, but that's not available just yet. Salvo! Ciao from Sicily. Cool. You had one of my live streams, and now you've RGH3. Cool. That's awesome. I'm glad to see somebody international. In fact, maybe I should just put out a general call and say, if you're an international modder, and you service or are willing to provide that service in your country, I get asked a fair bit to do international send-ins. And the bottom line is, from a shipping perspective, it just doesn't make a lot of sense. Because by the time you send 50 or 60 bucks to ship it to me, and then I spend 50 or 60 bucks to ship it back to you, you've spent more money than the console is even worth in shipping. So if we could line up some international modders that I could refer people to, I would be happy to do that. So if you're one of those folks, maybe drop me a line at weekendmodder@gmail.com, and maybe I'll throw together a page on my site where I'll link to international modders. That would be a cool idea. I like that a lot. All right. So the next wire that we're going to do is actually going to be the PLL point. It's going to go right here. I'll give you a more up-close look here, but we route that through this hole and back out the same direction just like we did the last one. So I've kind of bent a little hook in the wire here, and then I'll force feed it through a little bit at a time. And then now, there it's popped out. And we will pull it through big time. Alright, so we said PLL. So if we go back and look at our reference image again, PLL is the F point on this install. So I'm going to strip the end of that wire and get it soldered down to F. There we go. So there goes F. And again, same exact routing that we did with the previous one. So I'm just trying to get it to go literally over the top of the previous wire and route it as closely as possible right there. So what I'll do is I'll tack it down, and you can see this extra length here that I've pulled through. Once I get a little bit of glue on the corner of it there, I'll pull it through back to the underside. So I'm kind of going right on top of where I was before and just kind of remelting some of the glue with the hot tip of the glue gun so that everything gets anchored there. We give it just a second to kind of dry. Is the routing because of boot times? Yes, kind of. There is Salvo, you're just so sorry you can't buy one of the SD tools. Why can't you? I just added international shipping. I probably didn't add, what did you say, Sicily? Drop me a line at weekendmodder at gmail.com with your address, and I'll take a look at the shipping and see if we can work something out. I do want to try to make them available to international customers for sure. Alright, so now that the glue is kind of set up a little bit here, what I'll do is I'll just pull from the underside, and then that will snug up right to the heatsink. Perfect. That's exactly what we want to happen. So, next step is going to be to actually get the PLL point installed. And this is the same as has been around since RGH1 time frame. And that little point is going to go right there. It is a fairly challenging point for beginners. This little one in the middle, so not the one on the end, not this one down here, but that little one in the middle. So we'll route the wire over to it and then snip it off at an appropriate length. There we go. And then we'll expose a little bit of wire. Well, that was a little bit too much, but maybe I made it long enough I can trim it a little. There we go. We'll hit it with a little bit of flux. Good news, you can JTAG your Xbox One. Good news, you can JTAG your Xbox. We on. Who? 2625. I'm going to bet that Poor Man Game Mania is probably misplaced the 1 there, and he's on 12625, which would probably qualify him for RGH1. I got to guess that that's probably where he's at. If he's really on 2625, that would be the earliest dashboard version I've ever seen. But it is possible, I think, so. I'm not like an encyclopedia of dashboard versions, so I don't have them memorized, but you know what? I might have made this too short to even be functional. Might have to see if I can pull a little bit more length through from the top. Let's see, did I pull firm enough to get a little bit more? Yeah, I'm gonna just barely get there. This isn't ideal, but I think it'll probably be alright. Let me see if I can get a little bit more length. Yeah, I would double check, man. Poor man, dude. Check your exact version, because if you're on that, then you haven't been online with that console in or played a recent game in the last 7 years or something, right? Alright, so we've got this spot a little tinned up here. We've got a little bit of solder on the end of our iron. I'm going to hold it down with the tweezers here and just tack it right to it. And there it is. Decent little connection. And on this one, I like to put a little bit of hot glue there as well. Again, same reasoning as every time. And please, by all means, let the haters hate about the hot glue usage, but I'm telling you, it has saved the life of consoles. Alright, So the last and final point that we need to do is the RST. RST, yeah, 12625. That's right. I was right. Good call, Aaron. Where are we at? We're going to do the RST point. RST is going to go to A, but the routing on this one is, quite a bit different. The RST pad that we're going to use is actually just almost right underneath the X clamp here. And there's two little flat pads next to each other. We're going to use the leftmost one, so right there. So go ahead and hit it with a tiny little bit of flux. Pre-tin the pad a little bit. And then we'll prep our wire. And this is one where we're actually going to end up doing the underside of the board first. So I'm going to pull the end of that. And I've got a little bit more exposed there than I'd like. So I'll just trim it. And what we'll do is, you got that right there. And I'll just tap that spot with my iron. Slide in the connection. Nice. Alright, so wire routing for this one. Wire routing is fairly important on the RST wire. And what I have found to work the best is to put a little anchor point right here. So I'm mostly doing this not because this one's going to go anywhere or whatever, but I want an anchor point that I can pull against to then route the wire flat across here and then diagonal, and we'll actually loop it across the board right there. Will it be good to update to the latest firmware to get it online or not required? Poor man, you cannot go online if you don't have current dash. It will actually, first thing, just prompt you to do that install. So I'm pulling it taut all the way to over here, which is why that anchor point was useful. And then I'm going to put another little anchor point over here next to this side of the X clamp. So when that one has had a second to dry, that will be my next anchor point, and I'll pull it taut to over here. Yeah, I wouldn't update it, ModShop. That's a really good call to just be clear on. Exactly, ModShop is nailing it. You update it as is, and you will lose the ability to do the RGH1. I mean, you could do 1.2 and it really wouldn't make that much of a difference, but I would do the RGH1 since you're already capable of that. So now I'm routing my wire with a little bit of a curve to it over to this corner. And again, I'm just going to use a tiny bit of glue as an anchor to hold it in place. So that is the routing from the underside, and then that's actually just going to tuck over, and that's where it's going to go to the top side of the console. So the routing is specifically avoiding this area. That seems to be what causes the problem. If you just try to run it straight and over, you end up with issues. So over, curve to the corner. The nice thing is that corner then is right next to the glitch chip. So all you got to do is bring it up and then route it over to A. We'll trim the wire and bring it in a little bit. Strip a little bit off the end. That exposed quite a lot of wire. So we'll just trim that back by about half. Where can you find a cheap mod chip for a Jasper? Well, you could order one of these from eBay or AliExpress or from my website if you want to support me a little bit. The Matrix chips here work really well for that. You could pick up a Cool Runner Rev C, Cool Runner CR3 Lite. They will all do the same sort of thing. Thanks for linking my store, ModShop. I am actually out of stock on these, so I'm not being shy about letting people know that they can get them other places, especially if you're willing to have some patience. and wait for it to ship from China, you can often get glitch chips for as cheap as $1 or $2. But you are waiting quite a bit then at that point. So there's that wire. Is this my last stream? I'm going to keep going till I run out of time. Put a little bit of glue just to keep that one in place. All right, so we have fully installed our glitch chip. We have read our NAND. So next couple of steps are going to be to program the timing file to the glitch chip. These particular chips do not come pre-programmed with any timing file at all. They are blank. So what we need is our NANDX with our NANDX 2CR programming with a tiny little bit of pin header jammed into the end here. And then we just, on the chip itself, line up the labels, so TMS to TMS, VCC to VCC, and you should get a little light there on the console. If we go back to JRunner now, we go to Advanced, Custom NAND CR Functions, we get this little dialog. We're going to tell it we're flashing an XSVF file, which is a timing file. And then we're going to give it the RGH12_21 file. If anybody didn't have one of these, you could totally download my JRunner pack a couple of videos back. Check my channel history for that. And then we'll just say run. We get this nice little output, and it says done. I want to show you guys what it looks like on the actual chip when I do that. So I'm clicking run. You get a little light on the chip, and then it goes off when it finishes. So that's programming the glitch chip. I usually do hit it twice like I did just now. It seems like sometimes the writing to the chip can be a little inconsistent. So I do it twice, I guess. Alright, so because we are going to boot the console and I don't want to have overheating issues, I'm going to replace the fan and the fan shroud before we continue, because I wouldn't want to run the console for any real length of time without some cooling going on. On the Slims, that's kind of built in. On these, you have to replace the fan and the cowl. And then I remember we did not write the ECC file before, so we do need to take care of that now. In preparation for that, though, I'm going to go ahead and plug in all of my cords. My network cable didn't want to plug in there. So now I'm going to my NANDX plugged into my NAND wires. I do have standby power plugged in, right? So we've got power plugged in at the rear of the console. And we'll go back to the JRunner, and we're going to say glitch 2. Technically this is RGH 1.2, but it uses glitch 2 images. And I'll say create ECC. It is a Falcon, so I just say OK. I'm going to say write ECC. Oh, it's taking a second because my hard drive went to sleep. At the Weekend Modder, in my opinion, what is the best chip of a Jasper? I would use a Rev C or a Matrix V1 like this. RGH 1.2 on a cheap chip works great. Is it worth the extra money for a NANDX over a JR programmer? I really think so. The JR programmers are flaky. They often have to have their, firmware file reflash to it. If you plan on doing any more than one console ever and don't want to have a struggle with that aspect, NANDX is highly recommended. And as I said, I'm going to have a Weekend Modder version of the NANDX available, which will actually be cheaper than the original NANDX here pretty soon. So we'll go ahead and, so we just wrote our ECC file. I just disconnected my NANDX. Again, I like to do the power, disconnect, reconnect. I'm going to plug in my front ring of light board now. Alright, and we've got power, we've got the glitch chip program, we've got the ECC file written. So what we should be able to do now is actually just boot. So we're getting pulses, which is a good sign, right? We should expect those. And we just got a first glitch instant boot, which we can see there. And if we pop over to the Xbox screen, we got Zell. The price is going to be right around 40 bucks. Yeah. Right around 40 bucks. I'm not exactly sure, but right around 40 bucks. The Xbox One tab here within JRunner is a hard drive tool. Relatively soon after the Xbox One was launched with only a 500 gigabyte hard drive, the executor team was able to come up with a mod that allowed you to replace that with a larger hard drive. So they built that function into JRunner. So I just entered my IP address, sucked my CPU key in. I'm going to make sure that I change it back from JTAG to glitch2. And I'm going to create my XE build image. While that's going on, I'll power down my console, and unplug power, replug power, plug my NANDX back in. While I was doing all of that, JRunner finished what it was doing, generating our updflash.bin. So now we can write the NAND with that. $40 is going to be my NANDX version, the Weekend Modder variant. About that, I may be able to squeeze it a little cheaper. I'm not entirely certain. I don't want to, jinx it for sure. But I mean, right now the NANDXs that I have been going for 52 on the site, and I see them all over AliExpress and stuff at over 50 bucks. When they appear on eBay, they randomly go for like 60 or 70 bucks. So maybe I can squeeze out 35. I'm not entirely sure. It's not, I'm trying to give you a ballpark because somebody asked for that. And mine will come with the NANDX cables, the CR programming cable, a USB cable, and a housing that looks different than the current housing. It'll actually be a different okay, YPTK, that's cool. Thank you for throwing that out there, but let's keep the random advertising. Yeah, cool. Thanks, Bonchop. Am I able to post a dual NAND and SD tool to Ireland? Probably. Drop me an email to weekendmodder@gmail.com, and I will see if I can get that one added as well. Basically, include your address that you would want it shipped to, because I need to price check the shipping first. Yes, RevCs and Matrixes will be back in stock in about 10 days or so. Sorry for running out. I'm using up the last of my personal supply to do my send-ins that are on the shelf. Belgium, Sonic Wolf's Dutch, same story, man. Drop me an email, weekendmodder@gmail.com, with your address. I will check it through my shipping system and see if I can possibly help you out with shipping internationally. I'm going to add as many countries as I can. Alright, so I should switch out the camera here. We just successfully wrote the NAND. I just unplugged power. I'm replugging power. And then we're going to boot up. And in theory, we should boot to a regular looking RGH dashboard now. Or a regular looking dashboard, which is RGH. We just got to boot. First glitch, instant, which I really like, with the RGH 1.2. And let me grab my controller and my USB, and we'll just kind of demonstrate. If if you pay more, can you put the more durable ends on the... No, I'm not taking custom orders where I pre-wire stuff. The way that I offer things in my store is the way that I offer things in my store. Sorry. The Matrix Trident was a triple NAND solution offered by Matrix at one point. They had 2 extra NAND chips on the Trident, plus your normal onboard NAND meant that it was a triple NAND, I think, was how that worked. So the idea was that you would have retail, RGH, and then dev kit NANDs, basically. So here's the regular dashboard, just to show you. I'm going to go ahead and plug in my USB that has my copies of random software on it. And I'm going to select the wrong screen. Let's sync a controller real fast. Alright, so the USB is plugged in, which gives us XEX menu, which I can launch, thereby proving the console is RGH'd and works just fine. Bloop. A phone call. It was a cool idea, but it was a pain in the ass to update, I'm sure. I never really installed one. I worked on a console that had one installed and fixed it up, but I wasn't a huge fan of them. Anyway. So let's go back to the cam and we'll wrap this thing up. I got a couple other things to do to it, like pull the NAND wires out and do the LEDs. I gotta unplug my HDMI, power, all that stuff. Do I still sell? Yeah, absolutely. Store.weekendmodder.com. I don't have any consoles up there right now. I'm kind of changing my game a little bit. What I'm going to do from now on is every Tuesday, which I know today's Tuesday, and so it's not starting today, but every Tuesday is going to be the day where I post my consoles. So once a week, I'll post consoles on Tuesday, and if they sell out before the end of the next week, then there will not be any more new consoles until Tuesday. So Tuesday is Weekend Modder Sells Consoles Day. How many I have to offer and what I have to offer will vary from week to week. And emailing me will not get you information on what's coming up any sooner than anybody else. Everybody's just going to have to wait for Tuesday. That's kind of the way that I've decided to handle this moving forward. Because anytime I go out of stock on consoles, invariably I end up getting like 25 emails a day. Hey bro, when are you going to have more consoles? What are you going to have? How much is it going to cost? Hey bro, when are you going to have more? How much are they going to cost? What is it? Over and over and over. And it just, yeah, so policy is now Tuesdays, right? There we go. So chips all installed, everything's good, NAND's removed, cleaned up. So the last thing to do here is we're going to do the LEDs. I posted a video on how to do these separately, but whatever. You guys want to watch, it seems like. You're about to buy African Lifetime on your already Ninja Lifetime. Why would you do that? So did I just use diode legs for the end of the band wires? And I'm sure you meant NAND wires. And yes, that is exactly what I did. I used diode, or even what's the word I'm looking for? Pin header. So just took the pin header out. So let's do this. Yeah, I think the split screen is cool. You guys like it? Because why not? You love the service. I don't know, because if you already have one, it doesn't seem to make a lot of sense to me that you would need more than one. You know, it seems crazy. Alright, so this is floating the old LEDs off of the board. So you do that by just drowning the existing pads in some solder and wiggling the LEDs off. Isn't African a menu? I don't know. Is it? Oh, is that what he's saying? I don't know. I don't mod online really, so African is a menu. Oh, okay. That makes sense then that you would buy a menu that somebody's selling updates for. Okay. Sorry. I thought it was a self-service. Mod Shop, thanks for catching that, man. There's that one. So I think that Xbox Live for the 360 will probably continue for as long as they continue to push backwards compatibility. So the cool thing is everybody knows that you can play select 360 games on the Xbox One now, right? You get the backwards compatible titles. But what about using Xbox Live on those games on Xbox One? So if you just got a whole bunch of 360 games, which you can buy through the store on your One, it is reasonable to think that some people may have only recently purchased 360 games for their multiplayer, abilities. What color is this? Why is nobody... Oh, he circled blue. Okay, cool. He wants blue LEDs. Blue. Hey, have you guys seen this thing? This is cool. I 3D printed this. This is a housing that has a bunch of reels of SMD tools and little resistors and stuff. These are for installing onto the SD tool. And then these are just colored 06, 03 LEDs. $1,800? Holy crap. $1,800 on what? I don't think there's anything in Xbox 360 land that I would pay $1,800 for. Okay, so what am I doing? I am getting the LEDs out of the reel. I'm going to pick the little plastic off. And I need 5 LEDs for a fat board. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. So I put them on a little piece of paper, a little piece of cardboard here, just so I can keep track of them. Ninja and African Lifetime. You must really friggin' like playing online, bro. $1,800. That's a flippin' car. Seriously. At least in my world, that's how much you would spend on a car for your 16-year-old or something. I mean, that's crazy. You know what your next print's gonna be? Yeah, that thing worked great. It came right off of Thingiverse, so search it up. If you just do an SMD reel holder, it's right on. Does anybody know that like 3D print stuff? Is it Thingiverse? Is it Thingiverse? Is it Thingverse? Because it's spelled Thing, I, and then verse. So I always kind of assumed that it was Thingiverse, like a clever spelling of thingy. But I'm not confident. Poor Man Gaming. It just shot me an email on shipping. What's up? Okay, cool. I will check out the international shipping stuff when I wrap up the stream, maybe later today. Alright, so there's 1 LED. 2 LEDs. Ooh. It's a big old ball of solder, but whatever. If you have the money, then yeah, no, I agree. It's just $1,800 is past the point of it being that valuable to me. For me, right? Everybody has their own price points. if you're such that $1,800 on that makes sense to you, then by all means. I'm not trying to disparage you or say don't do it. I'm just saying that it's more than I can fathom spending on something like that. Ninja lifetime was $1,500. Man, that's pretty cool. That makes me want to quit doing the installs and go focus on trying to run a stealth server. Not that I know how to run a stealth server or anything, but I'm confident that if I wanted to, I could probably learn. Yeah. Good investment opportunity. If you like that, I got a bridge I'll sell you. Alright, LED's done. So last check here. Pull the console back out. Slide that back in. Come on. Got power. Oh, you guys are getting a stare at my arm again. HDMI and boot test. Blue is good. We should get a nice fast boot that'll then confirm the rest of these, hopefully. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Yay, blue LEDs! Can you use Kynar on Ace V3s? I think ModShop answered you, or you could just scroll up. But yes, you probably could, but why not just use the ones that come with the chip? I've never tried using the Kynar, because why would I? Alright. So we just powered off the console, and it's reassembly time. This part's boring, so y'all talk to me in the comments, and I'll try to talk back while I'm doing the reassembly. Brady shows... What? Brady, what was your last comment? They have a year KV life? Changed their prices since then? Okay. Cool. Alright, let's see. Oh. Well, let's put the console back together. You can't buy African without buying Ninja Lifetime. They seriously are getting people spending that much money on it? That's pretty cool. I'm impressed. When you boot up the Slim, it makes a sound. Is there any way to change that sound? If you have a special edition Slim, like a Modern Warfare 3, or a Gears of War, or a Halo Reach, or a Halo 4, any of those have a little speaker in them, and they have the capability of being reprogrammed. Alternatively, Team Executor sold a kit called Sonus that you could fit or retrofit. Even they had a fat version, so you could put custom boot sounds and eject sounds and stuff in your fat console too. But as far as I know, those have been discontinued and are either hard to get or impossible to get. I haven't tried because, frankly, I don't need one more variable to go into my my installs. I mean, on top of my regular day job, I have a hard enough time keeping up with my orders and not letting things fall behind. So I really don't feel like adding that sort of option. I guess I hope that there are other modders and people out there offering services so that if I turn somebody down and they're really in love with the idea of, a case cutout. That's another really good example. You'll send me some info a bit later. No Sonus needed. I know that there was some methods of soldering on there and doing that, but I never really looked into it. So, but that would be cool. Thanks, man. All slims aside from the E model. All right. Well, maybe I'm talking out of my ass then.
Honey,
What, darling?
I'm leaving.
Okay. I love you. My wife's leaving. She sounded frustrated. Even more of a fun install is to program a sound chip on a dead slim and hot air it off and put it into a slim E. That does sound fun. Yeah, I would be interested in that information then, so that would be pretty cool. Salvo, temps on an E-Series. I would say under load, you're probably with any 360 in the anywhere between 60 and about 75 C range. And then with just idling or whatever, you should probably be in the low 60s sort of range, hopefully. Coming out of a really intense gaming session, you might see 80, 85. If you see anything higher than that, I would consider adjusting your fan speed and increasing it. Anything over about 80, 85, then I would start to get nervous. Over 85, really. 90C is definitely the like, all right, turn it off, let it cool down, turn up your fan for next time sort of thing. Poor Man Game. Yes. So I do include LED service with all send-ins or pre-modded consoles. All you got to do is specify your color. Cool, man. Launch Shop, it sounds like there's some interest in those custom sounds. Maybe you should whip out a tutorial series or something. I don't know. I don't think I would begin to offer it unless it's just like stupid easy. But maybe it is, so that would be cool. Reassembling the case. There we go. Do, 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 do. My chop. You would love to get some red LEDs. Okay, well, then if you send in your service, just write it on the send-in form, red LEDs, and it shall be done. I do not offer a LED only send-in service, although that has been something I've toyed with for the US. Maybe like a ring-a-light board exchange program. You send me a stock ring-a-light board, I mod the LEDs and send it back to you, sort of thing. But I've never put it into place. The other day I was on eBay and some dude was showing selling pre-modded slim ring-a-light boards with just like blue and red and whatever for like $25 a pop. Those boards are worth like maybe $5 or something. So that's kind of crazy. All right, cool. So actually, I should have reattached the hard drive before I did this, so I could load up all the software. All right, one more boot. Definitely doesn't hurt. Get my USB. Plug that in. Get my controller. Nice fast boots, man. I love RDH 1.2. Xbox screen. All you need is a JR programmer, that's all. Solder a few points on the motherboard and write to the sound chip via JRunner's built-in Sonos portion of the app. That sounds awesome. Anyone know how you can fix an Ace 3 feed? How you can do an Ace V3 on Falcon from an LPT port? You could not, RickTech, without some other method of programming the Ace V3, unfortunately. At least not that I'm aware of. Anybody know how to program a glitch chip using an LPT cable? Maybe there's a method out there for that, but I mean the LPT would let you read and write it, the NAND, but as far as I know, it's not possible to use one to program glitch chips. Camera mounting. So let me show you guys. I've got two of these now. I can point this at this other one. Check this out. This is my camera mount. It's actually a $14 Amazon microphone stand. If you actually look at this head, this is a microphone stand. And what I've found is these Microsoft Life Cams. They're round like a microphone, and they just slide into the little holder. It works great. The first one that I'm using right now, this one, is a 720p version, but I can actually switch them, right? Yeah, there we go. So that's the other one that I was just looking at. This is a 720p version, and I just got them on either side, so I can just manipulate it, point it down, and then the microphone stand just stays there. Super cheap, super easy, like, solution, right? So if we split screen it, I can point them at each other. Oh, that's weird. Look. You're looking into each other's eyes. That's weird. There's my shelf with all my products and stuff. There we go. So you just independently manipulate, and then they just stay where you put them. It's pretty good. Anyway, sorry. Xbox screen. But where's the microphone? The microphone is straight in front of me on the little camera that's on top of my monitor. I would like to pick up a better microphone. I know that my audio quality is probably not great, but it seems to be good enough. Yeah. So anyway, what am I doing? I'm doing software. I need to keep going. You guys are distracting. I would have had more done without you, but you're fun, so I guess you get to keep watching. That sounds weird. Sorry. Please don't leave me. I'm having fun. I hope you guys are having fun. Yeah, click on Modshop's name and sub to him too. That'd be awesome. I think he totally deserves some subs. Maybe we can prompt him into producing some more video content. Modshop has done some awesome. I hope you don't mind. I think I could tell people about this. He did one of the awesome Xbox 360 laptop mods. So he built one of those. I think I saw him do some other game console ones, like maybe they were Raspberry Pi based or something. Feel free to throw out some links, Modshop. By all means, I am an admirer of yours, so please feel free to link some of your content if you'd like to. I would be happy to see it. Alright, he designed from nothing the SD tool. I mean, obviously there were schematics and information all available online that he kind of based it from, but dude, to have your own custom PCBs produced and stuff, that's badass. It's a good time. Alright, copying in, freestyle dash launch, XCX menu, all that stuff. So we got Aurora, freestyle and dash launch. We'll just fire up dash launch and set it up to boot Aurora. And there we go. Can you know the PC specs of my PC? Sure. My PC is a i7-4970K with a gigabyte motherboard, 16 gigs of RAM, and a 980 Ti underwater. So yeah. Jagdish, what did you ask before? I'm scrolling up. Jagdish. You somehow have a few TX Rev A chips. Can/should you use them now? For which consoles they're more suited for? I think a Rev A should work just fine for RGH 1.2 on any FAT. So go for it. Yeah, Rev A should work just fine, I think. Cool. So we'll power this off. And that one is now done. So just again, a reminder, that one was for Brad R. Brad R. We just modded your Falcon on the live stream. It's pretty fun. All right, next one is already decased. It is another send-in. And it's another Corona 16 megabyte, I believe. Transfer all these screws into this little container. Let me get a name so whoever's this is could be happy. Abner R. Abner R. This is your console. Alright. This could be a fun way to do stuff. Yeah, I could do videos if you showed to me. Poor man, what happened to that Xbox? What Xbox? That's the NZXT Case Phantom. Ryan, you are dead on, brother. That is totally it. It's actually really massive. I'm hoping for the Optane Intel new SSD technology that is like almost as fast as DRAM to become commercially available right now. The first Optane SSDs are already out there, but they're like stupid expensive. Once those come down to a reasonable price, I'll be upgrading my main rig, and this case, along with processor and motherboard and stuff, will become my home server. Alright, so we just did one of these earlier, this 16 megabyte NAND Corona. So we use the NAND points. We can also see the R2, C6, and 7 are still present. So we're not going to need a post-fixed adapter on this one. We can just about guarantee it. Yeah, the last one was super dusty and it was a little bit broken. But you wanted to know what happened to it. It was probably damaged in shipping on the way here. People send their consoles in some ridiculous shit, man. I have had people send their consoles wrapped in t-shirts. I've had people send their consoles with no padding at all, just loose in a box. And then, on the flip side, I have people go absolutely nuts with like 4 feet of bubble wrap on every side of the console. Machop, is your experience similar? Do you get consoles that are packaged really well and then some that are packaged like crazy poorly too? I don't know if maybe I just attract people who pack poorly or something, or my wife has suggested a number of times that I should probably make a video about how to package your Xbox 360, but I thought, oh, no way. People have enough common sense to know how to, package something securely for shipping, but the longer I do this, the more I think that she's probably right. But some people at least need a video. And for some people, it's the first time they've shipped anything. Lots of 12-year-olds and stuff haven't sent in their Xboxes to have them modded. Weekend modder, did you see my comment? Which comment? At kills something. Where's it at? You have a question to try to program your RevC on JRunner. It says connection error. You have no idea what to do. You also tried NAND Pro 3. I don't know what you would have if you have a connection error. So, here, let me show you one thing. Lower left of the desktop. This, when it first starts up down here, this connection error, that is totally normal. Connection error is absolutely normal because JRunner has a series of servers that it tries to connect to, which it's my understanding have been offline for some time. So what that's saying is it's trying to connect to the server and it's not able to connect. That is normal. ignore that. Leave it alone. If you're getting the JR Programmer logo here, or the Nandex logo, I don't really know what or how else to suggest to you, whatever. Yeah. What did you say? Oh man, you've got them all. Big boxes with no packaging at all, just an Xbox ping-ponging around. People wrap them in clothes and blankets. I've totally had this, like sweatshirts. I had one guy send me his Xbox wrapped in a sweatshirt, and it was the first time that had happened to me, so I contacted him and was like, dude, what were you thinking? Like, what's going on in your brain that you thought wrapping the thing in a sweatshirt was all right? And his response blew me away. Dude responded and said, oh, it's okay. You can keep the sweatshirt. You're welcome. I was like, he thought he was doing me a favor. Like, here, have a sweatshirt. You look cold, I guess. It just blew me away. Like, oh, yeah, you can just have the sweatshirt. Okay, thanks, I guess. You know, I mean, whatever. I'm a pretty big dude. You know, I'm in like 3XL, 2XL sort of shirts. I'm a pretty fat guy, so regular random internet kid's sweatshirt didn't fit me in the first place anyway. So it was kind of a thanks but no thanks sort of thing. And it was like a grungy old, like worn out it wasn't like he sent me a nice sweatshirt and was like, oh, I just want you to have this. This is nice. It was just, you know, whatever. I'm talking too long about a sweatshirt now, so sorry. I just soldered the wrong wire in place for a second there. The green one does not go on the top connection. The blue one does. And the green one is the lower. Alright. Yeah, I throw them out too. I don't keep them at all. The worst is when they have cockroaches in them. I've gotten a number of them that have cockroaches, and it's gross. Yeah, for the most part, a lot of people are pretty good. People are very easy. 3/4 inch bubble wrap, large flat rate box, wrap the console 4 times, remove the hard drive, put it in a padded envelope, done. That is a very good plan. Absolutely. Is there any place you can pick up NAND wires? The only place that I know about these days would be AliExpress. X-Console still has their site up, and there are NAND headers or NAND wires on there, but they are only accepting like money orders as payment these days. I tried to place an order with them and have gotten nowhere with it. I was gonna buy a whole bunch of them and try to resell some of it and stuff. But X-Consoles used to be the shit when it came to Xbox supplies, but these days they seem to have completely abandoned the website. Alright, so I need to fire up another JRunner. Come on now. Moon River. Oh yeah. Yeah, Moon River on eBay is a good dude too. I've bought a number of things from him. He's got a pretty good product. It's a little pricey, but it is U.S. shipped. I'm probably as pricey. I don't mean to say that it's not. If you're looking for the cheapest possible option, like AliExpress is probably the way to go. But if you're okay with or want U.S. shipping and want quick turnaround, Moon River parts on eBay is totally a reputable and good way to get a hold of stuff. Yeah, I did. I actually got 40 of them coming with my Nandexes for the NAND wires. So yeah, I did get some extras from them too. It's just before having that set up, I was trying to get a bunch of NAND wires because I'd like to offer them as an option with my send-in service. I think it would be cool to say, leave the NAND wires permanently installed, not sell them a programmer, not sell them anything, but just leave the NAND wires soldered in there. Because I think the way that would have a good pitch to it would be say, all right, you buy a console from me or you do my send-in service, and I've got NAND wires already hard installed in there. 6 months, a year down the road, you mess up and you brick your console. You write a bad NAND to it. Well, now you don't have to send the console anywhere. You order a JR programmer or you order a Nandex. You just plug it in and you can unbrick yourself, right? So I figured that would be worth a $5 or $10 upcharge to just sell a pair of wires with every console. And I think a lot of people would do that. So I'd like to add that option to the site here pretty soon. All right, so we're reading the NAND. While I'm doing that, I'm going to slide off to the side here and grab my other Ace chip. Oh, man. You guys got me talking a lot. 25 people watching. That's pretty cool. I think we crested over 30 the last time or earlier too, but that's still super neat. Thanks guys for hanging out. While that's still reading, I'll get the Ace chip started to be prepped here. A little double-sided. You found an LPT circuit to program the Ace chips, 3 diodes and 3 resistors. Awesome. Cool. I don't own a computer that has an LPT port anymore. Maybe my desktop has one on the back for like legacy support reasons. I don't know. I've never checked. Wow. Custom length pre-cut 10 wires, but nobody would take you up on it. Wow. That's surprising. I would have thought they could have, you know, I mean, these wires at length have to cost nothing for a manufacturer. So I would think that they would make you up a package or something and then sell them to you at $1 a pop or something. They would make good profit on that. Back in the day, when I was trying to sell the Super NAND flasher, I ordered a length of like 100 feet of each of the same color wires that came with the Nandex. So like black, brown, orange, yellow, blue, green, all those. And I've made some custom wire lengths and that sort of thing, but you know. We the Modders, you did a send in and you said thank you. Cool. I like it. 10 Ace for 50 price. No, it's not advertisement. I was endorsing Moon River, and I do have Aces for sale on my site right now. But yeah. Anyway. Use the Super NAND flasher as parts to fix it. Yeah, it was totally a Super NAND flasher clone, but those things had terrible quality control, or they were just shitty designed and they need a little fix or something. But at the end of the day, you would just have to like plug and unplug it from USB like 40 times, and it was just not a lot of fun. It will be a slow, painful thing to do. I believe you. But cheap is cheap if that's what you need. If you need the avatar update files, bro, you can download those straight off of Xbox.com. So if you actually do a Google search for like Xbox update, and then you find the Xbox support page, choose the option that says update using a USB, and they actually provide a link to the zip file that has that stuff in it right off of the Xbox website. You got Discord with 400 people in there, and they're very active. That's pretty cool. If you have the Xbox update itself, you can just click update for the avatar. Yep, that's true. There is that update mode within JRunner too. JRunner has this update mode. There's a pretty good tutorial over on 7sins on how to use this, but you can hook up your Xbox, get it on the network, and then actually feed it the update via this. I've not done it before, but I hear good things about it overcoming errors that other people have run into. Aw, I love you too, Alex S. All right. So I got to keep going on the installs, guys. I like talking to you, but let's go. And the cool runner is red. What else do? You program the file. You go to you load up the file that you need to program, and you click write, and it should blink and program and write. All right. So I'm gonna route that one through here. So the first point that I'm doing here is the 5-volt point. And now I'm going to use my tweezers, if I can find them, to pull the wire back through. I don't want it routed through the NAND wires. There's the 5 volts. Next one will be ground. This is your first RGH Corona. Can I please start accepting PayPal? No, absolutely not. Never, ever am I going to do PayPal. At this point, if PayPal's CEO called me and said, hey man, we messed up. I'm sorry that we decided to ban every account that has anything to do with modding, even though that you had a very low return rate and you were a super good guy who processed through probably $50,000 worth of transactions, and we made tons of money off of you, and we want you back. I would tell him that he could lick my butthole, because PayPal is the devil. I really think that they run a shoddy operation. I don't think that they handle disputes very well. I think eBay is a cesspool of people trying to scam each other. And don't get me wrong, I use eBay. And my wife has a PayPal account that I have to use in order to purchase stuff off of eBay, but I will never use them if I have any choice in anything regarding business again. They have burned that bridge repeatedly with me. Yeah, it's not, there's no love on my side anymore. I tried and called, I literally had escalations to their executive support team where I had accounts unbanned and rebanned, and it's just they're garbage. I wish that there was a competitor that was as internationally known as effective, but unfortunately there's just not. So at the end of the day, it sucks and it makes me lose out on business, but I am more willing to lose out on the business than I would be to ever deal with PayPal again. That's how strongly I feel about it. Greetings from Sweden, Jesper. Yeah, handling money. People dispute PayPal a lot. That's true. Bitcoin, I'm totally on board, right? Decentralized, there is no ownership authority. If you want an escrow service, there are escrow services out there. I love Bitcoin. I got me some Bitcoin, and I will sell stuff for Bitcoin. That's about as international online as I can get. Other than that, I got Amazon Pay on my website. So if you've got an Amazon account, you can log in and you can pay that way, which I believe allows you to even like put a checking account on file. So you could technically order like straight out of your bank account. Yeah, I've had PayPal accounts locked with a bunch of monies. Google Wallet's all right. I like them okay, but I'm not going to use them for business transactions either because their terms of service specifically prohibits it as well. I've never had a chargeback on Google Wallet, but I have not read great things about them siding with sellers on issues. So, bottom line is PayPal is in bed enough with the big banks, right? And the big banks are pressured by industries that they service, like the gaming industry, to not support anything that could potentially infringe copyright. So the argument is by RGHing consoles, even though I don't sell games, I don't sell mods, I don't sell mod menus, I don't preload games, I don't preload mod menus, I don't do any of that stuff. But the argument is made that technically what you're doing, or by modding, it enables piracy. So merely the fact that it enables piracy is PayPal's blanket position that it's bad and they won't support it, or they won't allow people to use their service that are doing anything related to that. The fact that people like whoever are able to support PayPal, it is usually short-lived. In the very beginning, and then not so very long ago when I was selling over on TTG, the techgame.com, I have in the past been able to accept PayPal, but not in a couple of years. So it's a sad... If they were agnostic as to what was being sold, right? They're a platform for sending money back and forth. My position is they should be agnostic. Right, precisely. That is a super good comeback, Mod Shop. RGH, yeah, I wish more people were aware of it and how to use it. It's kind of complicated too. Cody, Xbox.com. Google search Xbox update, and then click on the Xbox, USB update method, and you can download the avatar file straight off of Xbox.com. Or a car. Yeah, downloading. Yeah, Bitcoin is awesome, but it is a technical challenge today. I think what will really drive the adoption of Bitcoin will be some sort of large-scale economic event. If the stock market crashes hard, or a government is overthrown in Canada or some adjacent country, or shit, even in the United States, I don't know. Something like that will spur it, or somebody will finally come up with a user-friendly method for Bitcoin. But right now, none of it's very noob-friendly, as it were. Poor Man Game Media, will I live stream modding your Xbox? Do I have your Xbox? Have you received a confirmation that I've got it in my hands? Sounded like a soda can. I was drinking a soda can. See? Soda can. Yes, sir. Oh, I removed the LEDs, but I didn't put any back. So we're not going to be able to see the boot light. Alright, what are we doing? So it's got... this is a Corona, so we don't need to program the chip. We didn't write the ECC, so we need to do that before we complete. So, connect... standby power. I'll go ahead and connect HDMI. Oh, well, yeah, if I already had it, I think I'm going to get through everything that I have today with you guys. I can't guarantee it, that I would live stream it or not. I thought about offering an option, but it would have to be an expensive option, unfortunately. But like an upgrade for like 20 or 30 bucks, that would be, I will make a video of me modding your actual console. Do you guys think people would like that? Would you pay 20 or 30 bucks more for a guarantee that your console would be modded live on a live stream? Alright, so we got glitch 2, non-CR4. I go create ECC, write ECC. Alright, so we've written the ECC. We'll disconnect the Nandex, unplug, replug, and we should get Zell now. And we don't have a front ring light because I removed all the LEDs. So I'll just have to tell you guys when it boots because I can see it in the monitor above my head. So official question for you guys. Give me some feedback. Would you pay an additional fee, and if so, how much, for a live stream of your particular console being sent in? So it would be, in addition to the normal send-in fee, would you pay an extra fee to have a guarantee that your console would be modded on a live stream? 213. All right. So we just sucked in the CPU key, and we're leaving it a glitch too. We'll create the XE build damage. Burn it to a disk and ship it. So you also want a copy of the video? Yeah, I could include that. It wouldn't be that big a deal. A DVD with the copy of the video of the live stream. Writing the UPD flash. You'd pay like $15? Okay. Man Pro 3. Yeah, you're nicer than I would be in your position, Mod Shop. I probably would have just said, Google it, dude. Follow the links. But thank you for doing that. That's very kind of you. When people are like, I need a copy of JRunner, and you could literally go to Google and type in copy of JRunner for download, and you would get links back. I'm like, what? It's frustrating, I guess. I don't know. Maybe it's hard if it's in another language. That would be fine, I guess. Well, so, Brady, that's a good point. If you resell it, they would have proof it's from you. LGMTFY. Yes, sir. Favorite website. Back to Brady. So if you resell it, they have proof it's from you. So to be clear, everybody that does a send-in or a pre-mod gets a regular proof video. But that's like the 1 minute long video of just showing me boot the console and say, hey, this is your console, da-da-da-da-da. What I'm talking about is the full-blown, video of the mod actually happening. That would be something I would have to charge extra for sure. But I don't know. Rick Tech, greetings from Portugal. What up, Portugal? Bueno, la cosa es que puedo hablar un poquito de español porque viví en México por casi 2 años, pero no puedo hablar portugués. ¿Me entiendes? Yeah, fun times. I lived in Mexico for a couple of years when I was in my early 20s, so I picked up a little bit of Spanish, so it's kind of fun. Typical. Yeah, sorry. I should learn to speak Portuguese. It really shouldn't be that big of an adjustment from Spanish, but I'm lazy. Alright, so we're doing our second boot. The NAND just finished. I unplugged the NAND X. I power cycled. And it's booting now. And we'll have to do the LEDs. There's the boot. You guys don't see the LEDs because of... I removed them, but Callum, you're in the UK. Cool. I like the UK. I offer UK shipping through the site now. Alright, I'll power it off. And now begins the cleanup effort. So, removing the NAND wires. And so you guys, if you were around for the first stream, I pointed out that you could use the presence of the R2, C6, and 7 resistors as a good indicator for whether or not you need a postfix adapter. The first stream specifically about that, we actually took the heatsink off and verified that the post traces were there. This time I didn't even bother to remove the heatsink and verify it because I'm pretty confident in that relationship. But if I had went to boot it and it didn't boot, the next thing to do would have been to pop the heatsink back off and just verify that those post traces were there. I have had some consoles unexpectedly be missing the post traces, and need to be fitted with a postfix adapter. We the modders buy from TTG. Yeah. How many consoles do I do a week? Somewhere in the neighborhood of 3 to 4 in an average week. This week, this is probably console like 15. We've been having a big run on send-ins right now, so they've really driven. I've had to do a bunch of those. So this guy wanted blue and orange LEDs, but my send-in service specifically says one color only. So he said blue and orange, so blue was first, so he gets blue. Alright. White LEDs don't look very good in these Slims because the little plastic housing on the front has a green tint to it. So when you put a white LED in there, it looks light green. 10 LEDs for a Slim board. You have to think like this. If they'll buy Stealth for $100, why not pay $15 for a disc of it being modded? I know you pay extra. Okay, well that's a good point. I should sell We the modders. I should sell KVs. So I don't know. I need to do an educational video about KVs because I don't know. I really don't want to get into it. I'm not going to sell KVs because all of the KVs I possess are from consoles that I either sold or from customer send-ins. And selling those KVs would be like selling that out from underneath the customer who paid for it. I can't think of a good, a good real way to give a metaphor. I guess it would be like if you took your computer to a computer shop and as part of repairing your console, they downloaded the contents of your hard drive, and then 3 months later, after you had your computer back and it was all fixed, they were auctioning off the contents of your hard drive. They were selling it to get an additional benefit. It would totally make me some money. I absolutely agree. But in my opinion, the KV belongs to the customer whose console it is. So if I was to sell those KVs out from underneath them, it would make me feel bad. I would feel like I was doing something dishonest. And I'm not trying to insult any modder who does that. I guess everybody plays their own game, whatever, but I don't like it. Yeah, white shows good on the center LEDs for sure. Yeah, on fat, white LEDs look good. Yeah, for sure. Davis or Nah makes the white LEDs look good on Slims. Well, I don't know how he does that. Does he somehow scrape off the little plastic tinting? I don't know. I don't really care. I'll put them if somebody wants them. I just have a note on my site that says white doesn't look so great because it ends up looking kind of green tinted on the Slims. The center LED, however, as ModShop says, will show white very nicely. That's for sure super shady. Yeah, thanks for the voice of reason there. I think that it would be very uncool to sell my customers' KVs. And people have suggested, oh, well, go back through your NAND archive, because I've got, 1,200 consoles worth of NAND archives going over several years, and it just seems to me like it would be even if it's a console I modded 5 years ago, if the KV is still unbanned, then it's unbanned and belongs to whoever has that console today. Oh, dang it. Crap. I just lost an LED, I think. Oh well. That's why they're so cheap. My son's upstairs yelling at the TV. Doesn't the weekend modder like Davis? Davis is... Yeah, let's just drop it. I don't care. Everybody knows he complains about me on his Instagram because it makes him feel good to talk about other people doing a crappy job, supposedly. So, whatever. I don't care. I would really just rather not even discuss it. He can do whatever he wants. It's a free country, and I just want to ignore him. And I wish he would ignore me. Is what it boils down to. Live and let live. Come on. All right. So, get this last LED in place. There we go. Oh, I love you too. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I don't do cutouts and paint jobs because my time is just a little bit more valuable than that. I've done some in my way back history, but I mean, if it takes me an hour to do a cutout and a couple hours to do a custom paint job, and you know, by the time I'm done with the console, I got 5 or 7 hours in it. Man, isn't it a tough thing to then only sell that for a $50 or $60 upgrade? You're going to make $5 an hour or $10 an hour. I mean, I'm not trying to brag, but like at my day job, I make $40 an hour doing my normal stuff. So why would I, while I enjoy the idea of doing a cutout and doing a paint job and stuff, it's just people aren't willing to pay what my time is worth to make that happen. You know what I mean? Like, somebody only wants to pay $10 for a cutout, or $20 for a cutout. Yeah, if it's $50 more, I'm not making enough money on that for my time to make that worth it. So that's why I don't do it. I'm not trying to be mean to anybody, and if somebody else can, do it, then by all means. Oakley, what you doing, buddy? Are you hiding? My 2-year-old just walked in. Exactly. All day modder, yo. I'm a UK RGH seller. Why do people moan about hot glue so much? It comes right off with cleaning alcohol. That is my entire point. If you don't like the hot glue, like a little drizzle of standard rubbing alcohol and wait about 90 seconds and the thing will just pop off like a chip. Like, it just is super non-permanent. There's nothing that you can't just remove with like 90 seconds worth of effort. I totally agree. Yeah, and exactly. If it was hot glued before and you need to resolder something or update something or whatever, if you can't remove the hot glue without doing damage, then that's on you, because it's easy to do. All right. So we're getting the console reassembled here. What did I do with the little LED diffuser? And I need the other tip on my screw gun. Sorry, you shouldn't have made that comment. Dude, I'm not upset at you. If I went off, it was not directed at you, bro. No, not at all, Ryan. So don't sweat it. You don't need to apologize at all. 7 hours of man hour equals $70. Okay, if you're willing to work for $10 an hour, that is awesome. I am old enough. I don't know if age has anything to do with it. I'm trying to figure out a way to say this without sounding conceited. I am not willing to work for $10 an hour. That is not enough money, I guess. It's just $10 an hour is too low. Bottom line. I mean, the U.S. is trying to move towards a $15 an hour minimum wage. Yeah, bottom line. I don't know. I don't know what else to say. Brady says, doing it for their protection. If they don't want it, they can remove it and have fun when they lift a pad. Yeah, it's totally up for them. Most of the hot glue that I apply is to protect it from being yanked out. I'm absolutely doing it with the idea that somebody who doesn't really know what they're doing might get in there and be yanking on wires, and if they do, and that stuff's not secured, then yeah, they're totally going to ruin their console. You're just 18. I don't want shit money. I'm not trying to put down anybody who does work for $10 an hour. The world needs those people, right? And everybody growing up, and if you're 18 and you're making $10 an hour or whatever, like that's fine. But I just can't work for that. I would rather just spend time with my family, because I don't need that much. Like, I make enough from my day job, I make enough from doing these, that if I was trying to make every red cent that I possibly could, yeah, I'd totally do it. But I stay more than busy enough with my current offerings, and they make me a reasonable profit. Oh, my son just hurt himself. Hold on. Okie, come here, buddy. Did you have them in your mouth? Come here. Aww. Aww. You okay? Let me see. Is there any blood? Let me see. Does your teeth hurt? I don't see any blood. Come here. Come here. Okay. Okay. Hey. Hey, buddy. That's all right. Hey. It's okay. All right, guys. I think I'm going to have to call this stream. It's gone on for a couple hours. We've done a couple consoles. I really appreciate it, but I got to keep a better eye on him. My wife left a little bit, so... Anyway, as I said, this is this is Oakley. He's 2. He is actually my youngest. I have a 7-year-old and a 5-year-old, so I have adult stuff going on too. So thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks for hanging out with me. I will probably do some more like this. This has been a lot of fun for me too. He's not hurt. He was just playing. I think he kind of fell down a stair or two. There's no blood. He's just hurt. So thank you guys very much again. It's been fun, and hope you have a great rest of your day.